Aloha guys, hope everyone's doing well. I am bringing you a little unboxing, which I normally don't do, but I figured why not? And go figure, I ordered something from B&H, and this is essentially how the box came. It was like halfway opened. Mind you, I didn't even do anything yet to it. So go figure, my unboxing has already been done thanks to probably not so great shipping. But B&H, for whatever reason, has been not packing my stuff really well, which is surprising because they're usually really rock star, but pretty disappointed. And this is exactly how I got the box. It was pretty much open like this. Mind you, I didn't even touch it yet. So I looked at it really quickly when I picked it up at FedEx, and it seemed to be all right, so I'm gonna continue on. So as you see, we got this weird little cargo aircraft only sticker. Anyway, let's go and look. I'm gonna open it up and check it out. I don't normally like doing this because I like taking my time with stuff, but I'm gonna go. I got the receipt from B&H, and everything does look pretty intact, thankfully. Got some bubble wrap. We have this little guy. So we got the Sony ZV-1, and of course, because there's a little deal going on, the vlogger kit. So these two little guys, I'm hoping will add as a nice little camera to fill in for my iPhone 11 Pro or using my D850. I actually owned an RX100 Mark 7, the 7 series. I've had the 6 and 4 and 3 and 2, so I've had them all basically. And the 7 is really exceptional, minus the no neutral density filter. So as you see, I got right now the ZV-1 and the vlogger kit. So right now at B&H, at least, they have a little sale going on, I believe, with Sony as well, where it's $100 off essentially if you get this. So it was around $850. And what I actually did, I had the smart controller in a box sitting on the floor over here for my Mavic Air 2, and they just announced a firmware update for that, and they still didn't update the firmware compatibility for the smart controller. So I said, why keep $800 sitting in a box while I can go and get something else for $800? God forbid I let it sit. So as you see, this is the camera. Let's get to it. I'm gonna show you really quickly. I'm not gonna do an overhead view because I really wanted to just do a quick unboxing, nothing super crazy, just showing you like this, what's actually in the box. So as you see right here, we have, manual and all the paperwork, which is probably not much. I'm sure there's a digital PDF of this, and it's pretty simplistic. Thankfully, I had at least one of these little batteries sitting around. So they give you right now the little windsock, this little teeny dead cat, which is cool, which is a big part of this camera, as some of you may know or may not know. It's essentially geared towards vlogging. So there's a lot of features that I'm excited to try out, but essentially there's a built-in mic with this dead cat that allows you to have good audio, and it does have a mic input as well if you want to use something like a Video Mic Pro Plus or something like that. We'll go and open the camera, or take out the camera. And this is it. So this little guy, it has a, mind you, this is the first time I'm opening it and seeing it. And my only comparison is the RX series. So the RX100 Mark 7, first of all, doesn't have this little rubber grip. So it's more of a squared off, right off the aluminum. So this definitely is more grippy. It has this articulating LCD, which, as you see, folds out, whereas the RX100 Mark 7 folds up. Whoop, the battery compartment door just popped open. And this was always one of my complaints. I'm not trying to gripe on this guy right now, but as you see, the battery compartment door, it opens so easily. And with the RX series, I always had issues with that popping open accidentally. I really wish Sony would do something to have like a little locking system in place so it doesn't just plop open when you hit it accidentally. I don't have the battery charged, but there probably is some charge. I'm looking at the LCD. It's a 3-inch LCD, mind you. So it doesn't flip up, as I said, like some of the RX series does. And what I heard someone complaining about with this is that when you're filming, as you see, it's not perfectly flush with the camera. So you have a tendency on kind of tilting your camera to see this more flushly, I should say. So when you're looking at it, if you're going ahead and filming, you may tend to look or tilt the camera a little bit to your left in order for this LCD to straighten out. So I get it. I was reading and I was kind of curious what that was all about. But again, You just got to be really mindful and conscious of looking straight into the lens when you're filming, and just using this as a little gauge. So here's the camera. We got that. We have a little USB cable, which is pretty standard. And then we have these little NP-BX1 batteries. I think this is actually one of the generic ones I bought when I had my RX series. But this little guy, like $35 or something like that, but they really are kind of the, I think as most people know, not really the greatest batteries, and you need to have like 900 of them to get going. But seriously, you'll probably have, I would say 4 to 5 would keep you in a good ballpark. I'm curious to see, because the RX 100 series, as far as still photography is concerned, is amazing. So the still images on the RX 100 Mark VII are totally mind-blowing. It kind of reminds me of a D800 Nikon file. They're that good, honestly. And this, supposedly, it's a 1-inch sensor and a 20 megapixel file, and it does shoot RAW and JPEG. So I'm curious to put this camera through its test with the still images and the capability with that guy. It does 4K, 30 frames per second, I believe. I'm not even positive of the specs. It does, so it's a 24 to 70 millimeter equivalent for the lens, and it does, with the image stabilization, crop into it a little bit more, so it goes to around, I believe, a 35 millimeter. So you probably need to have it on some kind of Joby. This, from what I was reading and hearing so far, people saying isn't enough. So I'm hoping that, you know, this is kind of cool. I mean, it allows you to use some of the features and hit record and use some of that shallow depth of field, you know, that button, and produce a custom program button. So again, that's that. But I mean, it's pretty simplistic. You have dead cat, USB cable, camera, and a battery. That's what you get in this box, nothing else. So as you see, boom, that's it. I don't even know how this dead cat goes on, I believe. So this little guy on the little cold shoe, or hot shoe, I should say. Let me see. So you have to pull this LCD out, I believe. Or maybe you don't, but I'm going to pull it out anyway to access this hot shoe. And then this guy, let's see how intuitive it is, just goes into that place, and then it should just snap into place. And there you have it. So pretty intuitive, pretty slick actually. It's supposed to work pretty well, but for something that fits in the palm of your hand, I'm really excited to use this and not necessarily use my iPhone as an option for recording. I have a D850 and a couple other things, but I use my iPhone a lot just because it's simple to use and it pulls focus really well, and it's a lot easier, as I said. So this should be that kind of gap that it's filling, and I'm hoping it works out really well. So my next little review I do, I'm going to shoot it entirely on this and see how it fares in just a real life test. As far as this grip is concerned, this is the vlogger kit. We're going to cut this little top part right here, and we're going to open it up. It's a pretty little box, pink and blue and all kinds of cool stuff. Let's see, camera grip pairing guide. So you can tell it's really a pretty presentation. So it's a box in a box. Okay, so I didn't even know that. So you have a 64 gigabyte memory card, a Sony one. So it's an SD card in this box. You have the grip, which comes in another box. So you got these two guys. So we know what a memory card looks like. I'm not going to even unpackage that guy because I have better memory cards than that. And I'm going to open this one up. And essentially, it looks like paperwork. What is this? Some kind of little carrying case that I probably won't even do anything with because I probably won't use this carrying case. So I'll just keep it new in the box. And if I do ever sell it, I will have that intact, and that usually stokes people out to have something nice and clean and new. So as you see here, here is the grip. And right off the bat, it feels good. It feels plasticky, but it feels like an ABS type plastic. It has a photo button, a movie button, some kind of lock button, I would imagine, to lock whatever you're doing, and the custom button to assign whatever you would like. And let me see what this guy does. So these legs kind of kick wide open and kind of goes as so. So that's nice. I mean, it feels good. I don't know how you would hold it, but let me see. So this guy goes on just like this. There's a little dial right here so you don't necessarily strip anything. And that feels good. I mean, it feels actually very solid. So it's a little plasticky, but you know, maybe if it was a little grippy like this grip, I bet it would be nicer, or a nicer feel, because you'd feel like you're not going to accidentally drop it. So if this grip had some kind of rubberish feel to it, like this grip on the actual camera, I bet it would be a little bit nicer, in my opinion, just with an initial off the bat kind of thing. But it feels good. I mean, I don't know if I would really love to hold this like this all the time, because it does feel kind of plasticky, and that's not necessarily great, but whatever. I'm just giving initial input right off the bat. The camera feels better holding it than the grip. With that being said, let me go ahead and take this guy off. Pretty simple to unthread. I believe this has a battery in it. Let me see. So right here, there's a battery compartment in the back. So it looks like unlock. It looks like there's a two-step mechanism. Let me see, open, or maybe not. So here's the battery compartment for this guy. So I can go, there's a battery right here in the bag. So you got this little case, essentially, with the grip. You got the battery, and that's it. So I'm gonna put the battery in here. Get this little guy out. And let's see, positive up, positive up. And that's it. So the battery's in there. I'm going to put this guy back in. Boom. So now this should have power to it when I want to control it. I'm not going to pair it right now. I'm going to do that when I have a little bit more time. But pretty straightforward. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and put this battery in just to kind of see and give it a little whirl. So we got to make sure the contacts are going in the right way. And it just kind of depresses this little blue tab. So you put it right here, press down a little bit and push in, and it'll snap into place. So as I said, this door though, I've had an issue because I've had the Sony RX series for quite a while. And this thing always just comes undone. At least it does for me. I'm sure other people have had this happen to them as well. So I wish Sony would just do a little locking mechanism for that. I'm gonna see if there's any charge on this. And we'll power it on. Let me see, I don't even know how to power this guy on. I believe it is, so it must be, no? Maybe this dead cat is covering the power button. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. There we go. So the dead cat actually covers the on-off button, which is interesting. So right away I couldn't see. So the on-off button is right on the top, right next to the mic. So it's basically just to the right of the mic is the power button. I'm gonna hit it. And then it's gonna ask you to select your language. I'm gonna hit English, enter the date and time. I'm just gonna cancel out of this and do this later. But again, this is essentially, or maybe I will enter here, I'll enter the time zone. Chicago for right now. Daylight savings time, unfortunately, yes. And then that's it for now. Okay. But as you see, this little guy, pretty slick, pretty small. I'm curious to see how this guy fares in just the still photography and the video side and the focus and actually the sound, of course, as well. So I'm gonna do my next video with this. I don't know what I'm gonna shoot. I may do something on my Mavic Air 2 and just talk about that a little bit, or maybe I'll do something on my 107 experience, which I was going to do anyway with Pilot Institute, which is the course I used. But regardless, this little guy, the dead cat, USB battery with the package, with the grip. You get the memory card, you get the grip, you get the battery for the grip, and then you get the little case. So kind of cool, excited to use it. I actually kind of tracked down the FedEx guy today, I won't lie. So I had a sign from B&H. Apparently they made a signature delivery and I missed it. I was apparently on a bike ride or something. So I went and drove. My friend actually drives for FedEx Express. He's a fellow tattoo collector and friend. He didn't have the package. I actually found another ground package, or another ground driver. He didn't have it, and I actually went and drove to the facility and picked it up. So I wanted to get this out there and just kind of talk and see and share what an unboxing with this guy looks like. But as I said, nothing too exciting. It's pretty basic. Again, camera, dead cat, feels good. I mean, it feels like a nice little solid Sony camera, kind of comparable to the RX100 Mark VII. I hopefully think that they'll do some kind of grip on the next Mark VIII when they come out with that, because this really feels nice just intuitively. This feels a little cheap, honestly, in my opinion. I don't really love the way this feels, so there's that. Maybe you can put a little rubber grip or do something to it, but it just feels kind of ABS plasticky. And that's it. So hopefully that helps out a little bit, kind of gives you a little idea what you're going to get if you do dish out $800 to $1,000 for this guy. If I was to buy it, I would buy it now. B&H too, so you're aware, they do have a 30-day return policy, which is nice in case you don't find it working for you. As long as you don't, you know, abuse it and everything's in good working order, they will take the return. But that's it. So anyway, peace guys. Subscribe if you want to see a little bit more, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified. Bye guys. Peace.